Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are across the world. My name is Tuesday Berry, and I'm coming to you today. I want to express a little bit about my life. This may help somebody who may be struggling in their life, maybe going through some challenges and trials and tribulation, and this may help you. So, I'm 50 years old. I've lived all over the place. Didn't have a good upbringing as a kid. Into my teenage years, I got into an abusive relationship, had kids with the wrong men that didn't want to be fathers. They didn't want to step up and take responsibility over their children. So I ended up being a single parent, mother of four. That having my kids was a blessing because it saved my life actually. I grew up in the streets, um, did a lot of things in the streets that a girl shouldn't do, but I did it because I had to in order for me to survive. I wasn't a gang member or anything like that. Anything I did, I pretty much ran by myself. I was always a leader, never a follower. Uh, Sold drugs in the streets for about 8 years, almost 9 years, and decided that that wasn't a life that I wanted to live anymore. I had my kids that meant everything to me, and I wanted them to be proud of me. They never knew what I was doing because it was always kept from them. You know, I didn't have family to support me at the time, so it was basically just me and four kids against the world. And I did everything I could to the best of my ability. Eventually, I had to put my kids up for adoption. I was raped when they were about 5, 4, and 3 in front of them by a guy that I had met through a friend, and my friend set me up, took me to this guy's house. I thought because I was with my kids that this would be safe. Long story short, the guy ended up raping me in front of them. So he was convicted, found guilty, went to jail and everything, but that left a lot of anger inside of me. So I seeked revenge on him in my own way, and I felt I got justice for what he had done to me, the way he had violated me. And I went to trial, and he ended up getting 5 years because of the fact that I took things into my hands. Um, they reduced the charges on him. So that was kind of tough for me to deal with. But I felt like at the time what I did back to him was revenge enough for me. So I called it even, and I just went with the judge and let them sentence him whatever they decided to sentence him with. And I ended up getting married, and I was married to an abuser for 6 years, but I was always taught if you get married that you're supposed to stay married because that's a union between two people in front of God, and I took it serious, but my husband at the time didn't. Fast forward, I ended up getting a divorce 6.5 years later. I get my own place, move out on my own, and just decide to expand my life a little bit. I got me a good job. I was going to school. I had a place of my own. So I ended up just trying to find myself again. Through it all, I dated guys, and it seemed like none of these guys respected me. None of them really loved me. They just used me for their own selfish gains. I felt like I was wasting years with these men that I thought were for me, but when I really look back at it, they really weren't, you know. But I was young. I really didn't know what it was to be in a relationship. I didn't know really how to love because no one ever really showed me that. You know, I was always the outcast of my family, but that was okay for me, you know, because I always knew, even in school, that I was different, you know. And I just decided to go through life and just basically just do me. So I ended up being in the streets and running with the wrong crowd, and I started selling drugs at a early age for about 8 years. Um, I had caught an attempted murder charge, and I was facing 10 years in prison. Um, but through the grace of God, He pulled me out of it. He saved my life. You know, I going to prison really woke me up. Um, it made me realize that that wasn't a place for me. That the streets wasn't the place where I needed to be, and that was the only thing that was able to get me out. You know, I ended up at the age of 25. I became very ill, and for the last 25 years, I've been dealing with that. I'm now 50. Um, I had access to my legs. Now I have to rely on a wheelchair to get around, you know, because my legs aren't strong. I'm having a lot of numbness from like the waist down, but I'm still able to walk, so I'm blessed for that. I'm still able to move my legs, so I'm blessed for that. It's just that for my safety reasons, I have to rely on a wheelchair. But I'm trusting my God to do a miracle in my life, and He's been doing it because the numbness that I had every day has been subsiding. My strength, I feel, is coming back because I've been working on my legs myself at home. Um, and through prayers and guidance and faith and my beliefs and knowing that God is real and that He answers prayers and He does miracles, you know, I know He's doing it for me. Fast forward a little bit, I got into a relationship with a man that was a narcissist in the end. Finding out that I thought this man truly loved me after 7 years being in a relationship with him, only to find out that while he was planning a marriage with me, he was planning a marriage with somebody else. Go figure, you know. And that was one of the hardest things for me, you know, because when I met this man, it was a year after I had lost a fiance of 7 years to cancer at the age of 39. Um, that guy was a godsend. Uh, the only good man that I really had in my life. I had two good men in my entire life, and one was shot and killed when I was 20, getting ready to turn 21. He was 20. And then when I met my fiance that passed away, I was with him. He was from Africa. I was with him for 7 years. And at 39, he died. So that was hard. That was very hard for me because him and I did everything together. We prayed together. We worked together. We studied together. We ate, drank from the same cup, ate from the same plate. Like literally, we did everything together. You know, um, he was my Adam and I was his Eve, but without the sin. You know, that's how I would describe him. And losing him was one of the hardest things that I ever had to deal with because I struggled with that up until about 3 years ago. You know, it was hard for me to date anyone. It was hard for me to try to love anyone because I never had let go of him, truly. And it seemed like every guy that I dated or tried to date after him it just didn't work. I'm just gonna say it like that. Like, it just didn't work, you know, but It is what it is. It's life. You know what I'm saying? You win some, you lose some. In my case, I lost a lot. I'm just giving it to you straight. But at the end of the day, you know, God say what don't kill you make you stronger. So it definitely made me a stronger person. Um, but losing Richard was one of the worst things of my life. This is why you have to forgive, because there was an incident where he cheated 7 years into the relationship. I found out about it. I couldn't forgive him. I ended up moving out. I got an apartment. He got sick and he died. So I thought I had more time, only to find out that I didn't. God had another plan. I became angry. I started drinking heavy, smoking weed like crazy. You know, that was my thing back then. I'm now drug free, alcohol free, cigarette free. I do nothing. I'm high off of life. I'm high off of Jesus. So it's a better high. It's not like it's not like the ones where your mind is all fogged and stuff, you know. So I just want this to help somebody. You know, I went through the moments of having depression, anxiety, dealing with mental illness, and you know, things like that. But through it all, I remember to pray. I remember to keep God close, and by me doing that, I truly believe that's what helped me out a lot. You know, is just knowing Him. You know, because I've always knew who He was. I just never really got into praying and stuff like I used to when I was little, because I had lost faith along the way. You know, just dealing with different issues in my life and feeling like at times that He wasn't there. When it wasn't that He wasn't there, I just wasn't really looking for Him the way that I should have, you know. And now I realize the difference at what I was doing. And one thing I can say is He's always guided me and protected me, even when I was doing wrong. You know, He always kept me away from harm, and always got me out of some really bad situations, like where I should have been locked up for a long time, and dangerous situations where people tried to kill me. You know, I can honestly say that I escaped death 8 times. Who can say that they escaped death 8 times and they're still sitting, talking, walking, breathing? You know, um, but God did that for me. And I didn't come on here to do this for pity, because I want no one to pity me. I don't need it, because I'm a strong black Nubian queen that God has created to be something beautiful, something inspiring. And this is what I hope this does for you. I hope that this inspires somebody. I hope that my story can help someone, can transform someone, can speak to someone that may be in need of hearing this. Because one thing you're going to know about me as you get to know me and see my face is that I'm always going to keep it real. I'm always going to keep it genuine. I'm always going to keep it straightforward. And sometimes it's a little bit too forward, so I have to learn how to turn it down some. And God is showing me that. Holy Spirit is working on me with that. So now I've accepted Richard being gone. You know, I met this narcissist, and a year later, I thought that he was a good friend. I thought that he was someone that maybe I could date, because he was into music. I was into music. You know, I said this would be a good combination. Only to know that he was evil. You know, he just came with a beautiful face. He gave me a fake facade, a fake story. Everything about him was just fake. From his actions to his words to his lifestyle, everything. Yeah, he was a musician, that was true. But he wasn't a musician of goodness. He wasn't a musician of greatness. He was a musician that was selfish, that used people, that hurt people to get what he wanted, that would lie, cheat, and steal from you, that would put voodoo on you. That's what he did for me. He inflicted curses after curse on me, then lied on me, defamed my character. But see, one thing with me, a lie will never fail. Will never hurt me, because the truth will always prevail. And I've always believed that. So I knew that he was spreading lies and rumors and trying to make me look like this bad person. But I knew at the end of the day that I was a good person, and that his lies would be exposed one day. Might not have been today, might not have been tomorrow, but I knew that my God was going to come through and prevail for me. As so he did, because that's just the God that I serve. And that's the God that I want you to know if you don't know. Because trust me, when he says he will fight your battles and make your enemy your footstool, he means just that. He doesn't play. He does not play at all. You know, this man had the nerve to marry someone else, and I accepted it. I could have been that chick that been like, oh, you married so-and-so, you chose her over me. I didn't do that. I chose to love myself. I chose to say that I deserve better. I chose to say that I am worthy of someone who can respect me as a woman, respect me as a wife, and for me to respect myself. So I didn't fight with him. I didn't disrespect him. See, what he thought that he was playing me. He thought that I was going to sit here and be waiting for him while he's out doing what he wanted to do, sleeping with everybody in Africa, because that's where he was from. You know? But what he failed to realize is he was really dealing with a winner. He just couldn't see it. So while he thought he was playing me, he was playing checkers, and I was playing chess. So while he thought I was sleeping on him, I really was planning on him, scheming. How was I gonna get him back? And I got him back by beating him at his own game. Because, see, he thought he was going to break me down, tear me down, have me stressed out, depressed, not loving myself. That's what narcissists do. They try to tear you down. But where he messed up, he didn't know I was a child of God. And see, when you're a child of God, God ain't going to let nothing happen to you that you will not know about, because he going to make sure you know everything. He thought I was going to see mediums and psychics, the things that are against God, when he didn't know it was my father that was telling me everything. So I didn't say nothing to him. I didn't get mad. I picked myself up, brushed myself off. Did I go through depression? Yeah, because I was in love with the man. But at the end of the day, my father knew I was about to jump in hellfire. And he said, I'm pulling you out, and you're going to come out smelling like no smoke. And